This is going to be my first ever devlog. God, you don't know how many times it took me to do that. I'm going to do it slowly for my hopefully upcoming game Ruin. Before I get into it, I just want to say thank you so much for all of the recent support on my YouTube reels. You guys are popping off with this and the channel is growing slowly, which I'm really excited about. As some of you may know, I developed a little game prototype last year and I've learned so much through it, to be fair. I really pushed myself with my last project and met so many amazing people because of it. So I thought, you know what, let's push this further. Let's actually progress this. I may still work on this game, by the way, but as of this moment, she's fully on hold. I'm thinking of actually getting a team with that game project because I don't want to solo develop that. But yeah, this year game dev wise has been amazing. I participated in 2 game jams this year, which I've never ever done before. And we made some pretty cool stuff. I'll link the games in the description, especially this one, which is Operation Loophole. It was so fun to make, and you know, if you want to see behind the scenes of this, I would love to show you. With my new knowledge and experience, I really wanted to get back into developing my own game project, but this time I wanted it to be more personal to me. This time, I was not making the mistake of giving myself an unrealistic deadline. The main premise of this game is you play between a princess and a queen, and you have to basically relight the castle and bring the energy back to the castle. That's all I can give you at the moment. I'll be keeping the lore secret for now, but it should not be too long before I showcase it to you guys. I'm still refining the lore. That's why I'm not being like, oh, wait until 6 videos. Once this was done, I started off with creating a games design document where I could write down everything I could think of and refine it for the final project. I mainly thought of what the mechanics and core gameplay loops I wanted first before creating anything else. I didn't do that with my last project, and I think that's where I messed up. I had the visuals but barely any actual gameplay. So I said at the start how there's going to be a princess and a queen. These are going to be the main characters of this game, and I knew that the main mechanic I wanted first was to have these characters switch, but the difference is I wanted one of the characters to be in first person and the other the third. I'm aiming to create the game where you have to use them both to solve puzzles as you progress through the environment. So for example, the queen is more of a bigger character, whereas the princess is more small, so there would be levels where there's only gaps the princess can fit through and so on and so forth, and you get the gist. I did follow a tutorial to be able to do this, but it was more of a child blueprint than an actor. I had the system working and I was like, damn, this is so great, this tutorial works, here we go, let's press play, everything works. And I went to go change the camera and I didn't realize that because it was a child blueprint, right, before you judge me, I don't code, so this is going to sound really stupid now that I'm saying this out loud, but I didn't realize by creating a child blueprint, everything you would do to the parent, the child would inherit. It means I couldn't change anything on the child blueprint because it was the same. Or maybe I could, and I've changed my whole code for nothing. Behold, I had my first issue within the game. I had the switching mechanic down somehow, but when I switched to my first person, there would be no movement at all, and I was stuck in this for weeks. I had followed the tutorial perfectly, and it was the typical thing of like, theirs worked perfectly, and then I'd play mine, and it would just be like completely different, even though I've matched it like node for node. I really couldn't figure out the issue, so I went to plan B and asked the coders on Discord, and oh my god, these guys absolutely saved me. I've been following these game developers for a while now, and they're hella smart when it comes to coding. I mean, like, look how cool their game projects are already. They helped me and found the issue pretty much instantly. Turns out the first person character had no player controller set to it, so when the switch would occur, there'd be no input going in anywhere. So to fix this, we created a new player controller for both the characters, and I switched out all of the first person inputs and blueprints into the new controller, and instantly it worked. It was amazing. I was so happy. Thank you, Feather Studio, for helping me out with that one. Yeah, go follow them. Go check out their games. They're really cool. I'll put their channel in the description, so go check them out. But yay, look at that. I can switch. The characters are working. First mechanic is down. I now wanted to prioritize adding in the mechanics for the third person character first, since this is going to be the most movable and playable one out of the both. You would use the little third person guy to travel around the castle, since she would be small and agile enough to solve most of the game's levels. I wanted to focus on making an actual fun to play character this time, because this is one of the games I want to make solid for next year, and I want to take it round and show people. I thought my first focus on this little character would to be create a parkour system, but yeah, it was brought up a lot when my past game project was being playtested that the movement wasn't the best, so I want this to be my main priority this year, to be able to produce a game where everyone's like, wow, The movement's so solid. Oh, this character could do so much. I hadn't started to model the character yet, so I thought I'd set up the code for now so I can swap out the placeholders with the main thing. My first thought was to set up a ledge climb mechanic, and it seemed to work really well. It needs a few tweaks, but the system was there and already more fun to play, so I was happy. I also went to add in a crouch, but I realized my crouch mechanic was now overlapping. I solved this. Here's where I thought I was smart and thought I fixed the code by ticking a certain box so that the ledge climb mechanic wouldn't overlap, but then by doing that it broke all of the animations from my ledge climb and my crouch. I knew instantly by these two issues alone that this was going to be difficult to set up, and I should probably do this when I actually have my character and animations ready, as it wastes too much time trying to import Unreal mannequin animations every time I wanted to set something up. I've played around with retargeting settings within Unreal previously in the past, and I hate it and it's tedious, and I think I'd rather just make the model now. So I left the system for now while I work on the character and her rig/animations. As you can see here, her models are in progress, and so's the other one, but we ignore the other one for now. This the little guy we're focusing on. I'm almost finished with both her and the first person character blockouts. From there I can focus on the character sculpts as well as retopology and texturing and rigging. Ooh, but yeah, we're coming back to this. I'm creating the character first because I feel like it's going to be easier in the long run. I did a couple concept art of these characters beforehand. Originally I wanted it to be about a king and his cat. I realized I didn't really have much attachment to this. Don't really know, it didn't really make sense lore wise, I don't think, so I decided to change it, and instead of it being a cat, it was more of people wearing cat masks. No idea why, I just thought it looked cool. But yeah, here's the semi-final designs. I'm still having to draw up their 360 sheets in that, to be fair. So if you guys watched my last video, I created a windmill environment as a technical art practice. The assets I created for that I also made with the intention of using it in this project. I wanted to create my first level/scenery to get my vision for the game as well as a playable level. This one's going to be the sort of the tutorial level in which the player will walk around and explore the outside of the castle before entering the castle and going through the levels from there. A lot of this world will be limited to the player, so you can't exactly run around because the map looks massive right now. Once again, I've made a Fortnite island. Season 2, I guess, of the Fortnite island. The event was crazy, you know? We're in castle time now. But anyways, this was really fun to create. I'm still creating it. The game's based in a castle, so I wanted to create the outside first so I know where the level will go from there. I have my levels sort of written down of what stages I want it to be at and where the player is going to progress, but I thought at the moment if I can get the outside visualized, then I can sort of delve into that. To create the scene, I created a new level within Unreal and played around with the landscape first. I'm once again doing this in 5.3 because that's the version of Unreal I've been most confident in, and there's a lot of tutorials within this version out there. I really wanted to go for that like Dark Souls game vibe where like you have a huge castle that's normally like on a hill somewhere and have cool like hierarchy, so I painted the landscape with a horizon sort of around it and a main bit of mountain going up, so that this is where the main focus of this level was going to be. I also wanted to create water for this game. I haven't experimented with water enough and I want to push myself this time to create water. So yeah, I thought to go with the castle on the hill vibe. I wanted to create like a moat / like a wetlands environment. I think it would look really pretty for this game. With my vision down, I started importing all of my foliage assets that were already completed onto my scene. The only difference this time was that I actually created a texture for my landscape rather than base color, and I think it added so much to this scene. I also learned a new way to put foliage down, which I never thought of and I never even knew Unreal could do it, which was placing grass on a certain texture within the virtual textures landscape. I never knew you could do that, and it's actually life-changing. So yeah, you can see all my grass is on the grass texture rather than the dirt as well, and it's oh my god, it adds so much. It looks so good. With basic foliage down, I think the environment already looks pretty cool, and I cannot wait to see the finished look of this one. I will also be creating a modular kit for the castle. I just felt like it'll be easier in the long run, especially if I want to create more levels and it's going to be the same sort of castle brick. I have one for the houses, as you saw in the last project, but I will use them to sort of scatter around and fill out the environment a bit. But yeah, I think I spent like a week or two sketching out this environment. I have uni and normal work on top of this, so I cannot dedicate as much time as I want currently, but hopefully next year we'll bring in great things. But yeah, there's not much info or like cool things to show on this first devlog, just rough ideas and blocking things in for me to refine later down the line. I cannot wait to create the art for this game, and I must force myself to get the code down first. Do you know what? Props to you coders, I don't know how you do it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I wish I could show you more, but that's all I have. I'm not sure when the next devlog would be, but I will make sure to update you guys on the socials when it's nearing coming out, or even just sneak peeks of what I have in between them. But yeah, I really hope I can pull this idea off. And there's a certain con in the summer that I want to try and take this to. So yeah, hopefully if I can get a solid build by then, it'll be a cool video for me to produce of it being potentially in a convention, but we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. See you later.